Hey, good morning, kids. This is your old pal, Kevin in LA, saying good morning. Um, things are good. Things are good. Things are relatively unchanged since last time we talked. But I wanted to have a conversation this morning about fashion. And I know the first thing that you're going to think: why the hell do I want fashion advice from a guy who looks like he's a hobo who got dressed at the dollar store? Well, I'm going to tell you why you not know from me. Because this shit is not as complicated as they want you to think it is. And I just watched a couple of videos on fashion, and I realized when I was done with them that I was like, wow, this makes it way too complicated. Fashion is a thing that exists because we are human beings that exist. We are bits of really, really bright light that exist within these puppets of meat that we walk around in, that we show to the rest of the world. That simple. And the things that we put on this outward body are supposed to reflect what is going on the inside of us. Now, this whole thing, don't judge a book by its cover, is a really good, fair thing. But it's not really a fair thing because there's a lot of things you can't judge a book by. And a cover ain't it, really. Because, and it's not, it's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just that the metaphor isn't that good. Because think about what a cover is. A cover is what the best thing that whatever these people who have written a book have decided to show what the inside of the book is. So it's fine when it comes to fashion. It ain't fine for the rest of it because really, you can't judge a book by a cover. Doesn't apply to like if you have a huge nose and you're uncomfortable with your huge nose. You're giving that huge nose out to the world, but that huge nose doesn't have anything to do with who you are on the inside. You're not a huge nosed person on the inside. On the inside, your nose is petite and perfect and makes everything that you want it to be. So the real thing about don't judge a book by its cover is not don't judge a book by the things that you can control. It's don't judge a book by the things that you can't control. And so the things that you can't control on the cover of a book is like nothing. So this is really dumb metaphor. But we use it, it's shorthand, and it kind of makes sense in a lot of ways. But it's basically don't judge an outside that you can't control by what's going on inside. Does that make sense? So your face, your body, all of that stuff, that's your real cover. You can't control that. And it doesn't reflect what's on your inside. You could be a huge guy who's really scared of everything on the inside. You could be a tiny little guy who's the bravest guy in the world, fucking beat up the huge guy. You could be a black guy who's really a little white guy on the inside. You could be a white guy who's really a black guy on the inside. It just doesn't matter, right? We are who we are in this little brilliant point of light in our heads. Not all this. And I'm not the first person to say this. People have been saying this shit forever. You know, Shakespeare said it like a billion times better than I ever could. And he's, just read a bunch of Shakespeare. You'll figure out a lot about life, kids. Even though you're like struggling to get through the thous and these and the privies, you're going to learn a fuckload about humanity and life if you read Shakespeare, because that guy had it figured out. And he put it in a way that made sense to people of his age. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to us now because it sounds weird, but it doesn't matter. I mean, don't judge by what it sounds like, judge by what it's saying. Don't judge this book by its cover. That's a good way to look at it. So fashion. Fashion is one of those things that you can control. All right? So fashion should be something that reflects what that little bright pinprick of light in your head is that you're putting out there. And it doesn't matter. As long as you're happy with it, that's the most important thing. But you got to figure people are going to, like, say, if your pinprick of light is this horribly, like, badly dressed, didn't give a shit in the morning, smells like ass person, that's who you really are inside. Well, that's who people are going to see, right? And, you know, if you want people to come up and talk to you, that's not going to be the way that they're going to do it. So sometimes you got to lie a little bit on your resume. Got it? If your inside is really just this person who wants to be in his pajama pants all the time, sitting on the couch eating popcorn and watching fucking, well, be careful with the popcorn. You know how I feel about popcorn. But watching Netflix and not doing anything, you know, that's fine. You can be that, you can dress for that success, but probably it's better to do that at home when it's the right time for it. When you're out, you got to dress like, to a certain extent, what people expect you to dress like. You got to put on regular clothes. So start from that baseline, people. Start from the baseline of, I got to wear regular clothes. Now, when I say regular clothes, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything, really. It just means whatever you can get away with. So, if you're like a really hot chick, your regular clothes might be a crop top and really booty shorts and like high boots and stuff like that. And that's what you're selling to the world. And you could do that because you're a hot chick. If you're not a hot chick, I'm sorry, you can't do that. I mean, if you're like a cool guy and you're like a guy who feels that way, you can wear a crop top and booty shorts, and if that's what you want to give to the world, that's fine too. As long as you're covering up your junk and your boobs and whatever else we're not allowed to show people, you're great. But make sure that what's on the outside is what you're trying to sell. Okay? That's it. If you are a person who really wants to meet people, don't put on stuff that says, I want to be by myself. Don't dress in like a black hoodie pulled over and like pants that don't really, you know, fit right, and like a t-shirt. You know, don't dress, hey, get away from me, if you want people to come to you. If you don't want people to come to you, don't dress in like, hey, come talk to me. If you're a girl who wants to go out and dance at a club and doesn't want to be molested by guys all night, don't fucking put on booty shorts and high boots and a crop top and go out and start wiggling your ass and be like upset when people come up to talk to you because you're giving off this thing that I'm a sexy person, come talk to me and be sexy with me. That's just it. This is a message you're giving out to the world. So what does that mean about fashion? It doesn't matter if you're wearing like stuff that's got a brand name on it. It doesn't matter. If it looks good on you, if it makes you feel comfortable, that's the cool thing. If you can pull something off and wear like a t-shirt that has a cool name on it that says, I'm cool enough to wear this shirt that says whatever Stampede on it or whatever the fuck. I don't even know what these fucking things are now. Hugo Boss. Forget Hugo Boss. But you know what I'm saying. If you're wearing something that's got a cool name on it, that you're doing that because you want people to know, hey, I'm cool enough to wear this stuff. Come talk to me. But don't think that that's the only way that you get people to talk to you. You could be wearing something that's cool that doesn't have any of that shit. If you don't have the money to spend on that shit, don't spend the money on rent, on fucking clothes to make you look like something that you think is people are going to want to talk to, because it's not about that. People are going to want to talk to you if you're interesting. They're going to want to read the book if the cover is interesting. But if they look at the cover and the book's not interesting, they're just going to walk away anyway. So what's the fucking point of having some fucking Frank Frazetta do your cover of your book if your book sucks, right? You may get some people in the door, but you're just, what are you going to do after that? So really, if you're a nerd and you want to attract other nerds, dress like a nerd. If you're a cheerleader and you want to attract other cheerleaders or guys who like cheerleaders, dress like a cheerleader. If you are a dude who wants to make $1 million on Wall Street, dress like a guy who wants to make $1 million on Wall Street. Don't dress like a fucking clown. You know? Dress like the person that you really are. Don't dress like the laziest thing that's going to put you on the street. Like, this is really not that hard. And it doesn't have to cost $1 million, and it can cost $1 million. It can be whatever you want. But the thing is, be comfortable and be yourself. That's the number one rule in all of this, people. Be true to yourself. If you're true to yourself, you're going to be a fuckload happier than if you're just out there trying to be true to everybody else. And I'm not the first person to say this, but I'm saying it again, and I'm underscoring the fact that all this stuff that you are doing is just, we're making ourselves miserable thinking we got to be somebody else. If you're not a rapper, don't dress like a rapper. If you want to be a rapper, dress like a rapper. Dress like a rapper, but people will walk up to you and expect you to be a rapper. And if you're not there yet, they're going to be like, this dude stupid. Because this dude is some guy from Iowa who does no idea what it is to be a rapper, but he dresses like a rapper. And you're just coming off like an asshole, right? Dress like a guy from Iowa until you meet some rappers and you start hanging out, and then you're like, okay, I know what it is to be a rapper, and then dress like a rapper. That's just it. The clothes you're wearing have to reflect what you really are on the inside. If they don't, that's not. So look at me. I'm wearing a stupid orange hat that I got from the dollar store, okay? I'm not super comfortable in it right now because this doesn't really reflect who I am. It's a little too bright, but it's keeping my head warm, and that's all I care about right now. I don't give a shit. I'm wearing my glasses because I wanted you guys to think I kind of looked a little bit interesting this morning, so I'm wearing my glasses, and now I look a little smarter. And I'm wearing a shirt that's got a V-neck on it. It's a t-shirt. I like this shirt. It's not gonna get me in any clubs or anything, but I like it. It's comfortable, and I think it's kind of smart. I think the V-neck looks better on me than the round thing because I think my neck is like what it is, and like, I'm just working with what I got. And that's it. That's all you gotta do. Just work with what you got. When you go out in something that you're comfortable in. Because you go out in something you're not comfortable in, and then you spend the whole night thinking about how uncomfortable you are rather than thinking about what you're actually doing. And that's just stupid. So anyway, that's enough advice from me. This is Kevin in LA telling you to dress for success and dress for yourself. And that's the most important thing. And I love you, and I'll see you in the funny papers.